Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to dive into one of the most critical and alarming events shaping the Middle East, the collapse of Israel's Loop Highway and the new wave of attacks and pressure building up from Iran, Egypt, Qatar, and Lebanon. At first glance, this may appear to be an infrastructure accident, but as we unfold the details, it becomes clear that this is much more than concrete and steel breaking apart. It is a symbolic and strategic event that exposes vulnerabilities in Israel's security and governance at a time when adversaries are waiting to exploit every weakness. By taking a structured approach, we can understand this in terms of what is visible on the outside, what is happening on the inside, how Israel is performing in its response, the safety features it relies upon, the unique selling points of its resilience, the price it is paying, and the ultimate conclusion about where this leaves the region. On the exterior level, the Loop Highway was built as a modern, state-of-the-art route connecting central Israeli cities and offering rapid transport for both civilian movement and military deployment. It symbolized Israel's claim to efficiency, modernization, and preparedness. The road was lined with advanced lighting systems, layered concrete foundations, and was engineered to withstand heavy loads. Yet the sight of its sudden collapse shook not only the landscape, but also the confidence of the population. From the outside, one sees giant slabs of concrete broken like fragile glass, vehicles stranded on dangling edges, long traffic jams stretching for miles, and emergency personnel struggling to manage chaos. For citizens, this exterior damage meant disrupted routines and fear of further failures. For adversaries watching closely, it painted a picture of a country that could be destabilized, not just by missiles and rockets, but by the breaking of its own backbone. The collapse became a visual metaphor for fragility at a time when Israel is expected to show invincibility. Inside the state, the collapse triggered even deeper concerns. Internally, Israel has been dealing with a divided political system, constant debates over judicial reforms, waves of protests in recent years, and criticism directed at leadership. The highway collapse, though physical, reflected these internal fractures. It showed that governance has not been able to anticipate or prevent failures, whether in infrastructure or in broader security management. Citizens are frustrated, asking how a nation that prides itself on being a high-tech leader could fail at something so fundamental as keeping a major highway intact. Politicians blame one another, bureaucracies argue over budgets, and the public feels the weight of mismanagement. This interior dynamic is short but revealing, because it emphasizes that a strong exterior without stable interior management cannot endure. Israel's inner weaknesses magnify the damage caused by external attacks. Evaluating performance, we see both strengths and weaknesses in Israel's reaction. The first response was immediate deployment of rescue teams, engineers, and security personnel. The military quickly established control zones around the collapse site to prevent further panic. Statements were made by government officials promising fast reconstruction and an investigation into the cause. Yet despite the speed, performance has been reactive rather than proactive. For decades, Israel has prided itself on anticipating threats and staying ahead of adversaries, but this event showed a gap in foresight. Repair efforts are underway, but troop movement has slowed down, supply chains are disrupted, and the credibility of the government's efficiency has taken a blow. Meanwhile, adversaries have capitalized on this distraction. Iran has escalated its rhetoric, hinting at Israel's vulnerability. Hezbollah in Lebanon has launched more rocket attacks, knowing that Israel's attention is divided. Qatar is amplifying critical media narratives across the region, while Egypt is raising new diplomatic pressures. Israel's performance therefore looks stretched, as if it is putting out fires on too many fronts at once. Safety features in Israel have always been highlighted as among the best in the world. The Iron Dome missile defense system intercepts rockets, border walls and monitoring systems guard against infiltration, and civil defense networks alert citizens within seconds of an attack. Yet the collapse of the Loop Highway reveals that safety can not only be defined in terms of military defense. Infrastructure safety is equally vital, because roads, bridges, and power grids are the arteries of national survival. In this case, either maintenance was overlooked, intelligence warnings of possible sabotage were ignored, or systemic negligence was present. While emergency response is strong, the prevention mechanism was lacking. Israel is realizing that its safety features, while excellent in missile interception, need to extend into everyday resilience. A nation surrounded by hostile actors cannot afford cracks in its civilian infrastructure, because adversaries are quick to exploit them. Israel's unique selling points on the global stage have always been its combination of military power, technological innovation, and the ability to recover quickly from crises. It presents itself as the startup nation, a hub of invention, a society that transforms challenges into breakthroughs. Even under heavy attack, Israel has demonstrated resilience, rebuilding faster than its enemies expect. However, the Loop Highway collapse challenges this narrative. How unique is Israel's strength if its basic infrastructure fails at such a crucial time? What sets Israel apart, though, is not perfection but adaptability. Even now, Israeli engineers are likely redesigning the collapse site with stronger foundations, cyber experts are analyzing whether foreign interference played a role, and military strategists are adjusting deployment plans to compensate for the gap. The unique selling point remains resilience under pressure, but it is under sharper scrutiny. Israel's capacity to turn failures into stronger systems will determine if it can sustain this identity. The price of this incident is enormous and multifaceted. Economically, the collapse means billions in reconstruction, lost productivity, disrupted logistics, and delayed trade. For ordinary people, the cost is hours of wasted travel, stress, and uncertainty. Militarily, the collapse slows movement of defense units, increases response times, and forces reliance on alternative routes that are more exposed. Politically, the government faces rising criticism, protests demanding accountability, and loss of trust at a time when unity is essential. Socially, the price is seen in anxiety among families, particularly those living close to borders who now feel more vulnerable. Regionally, adversaries are exploiting the situation, meaning the cost extends beyond finances and politics into strategic positioning. Iran saves resources by letting Israel bleed itself through internal failures. Hezbollah spends little to create maximum pressure. Qatar invests in narratives rather than direct combat, while Egypt uses diplomacy to push its advantage. The combined price is not just measured in money, but in weakening of national morale. In conclusion, the collapse of Israel's Loop Highway is far more than a civil engineering failure. It is a symbol of a state under pressure from within and without. The external image shows destruction and chaos, while the internal reality highlights political fragility. Israel's performance has been quick but not flawless, and its safety features are stretched between defending against missiles and maintaining domestic resilience. Its unique selling point of resilience and innovation is being tested as never before, and the price is already immense across economic, military, political, and social domains. Yet history suggests that Israel often turns crises into opportunities, rebuilding stronger than before and learning lessons rapidly. The key question is whether this can happen fast enough, because adversaries like Iran, Egypt, Qatar, and Lebanon are not waiting. They see this collapse as an opening in the armor of a state that has long appeared invincible. Whether Israel can restore confidence, reinforce infrastructure, and respond to regional threats simultaneously will determine the stability of not only the nation itself, but the entire Middle East. This collapse is not the end but a turning point, one that will echo through strategic calculations in the months and years to come.